Congratulations on your success in the invitational event. There may not be points or prizes, but it still helps you look good.
Welcome to Monaco for this weekend's Formula One Grand Prix. It's a race that is truly steeped in history, but before the drivers turn their attention to winning, they first need to get through today's tricky practice session. I'm here with Anthony Davidson once again. Nice to see you, Ant, and I wanted to ask you about how you go about improving the car over the course of a practice session. How much would you say is already known from the pre-race simulations, and how much do you have to do, how much do you have to work on with a real car on a real circuit?
Well, that's a good question, Crofty, and I suppose the simple answer is that there's no such thing as too much information. As you say, the bigger teams have very complex simulations, vast numbers of clever people crunching the numbers back at base, but what they can't tell you is stuff like how the track condition's going to be, or what the temperature's going to be doing over the course of the day, and how all of that's going to be interacting with the tyre. There are so many millions of tiny variables involved in getting these cars around a racetrack quickly, but the computer can't tailor the car to a driver's specific balance requirements. At some point, you still need to put a human being in there and have them feel it through the seat of their pants. And that's why we end up with different drivers having different setups. So what I'm trying to say is, Crofty, nothing beats on-track testing.
Program complete and a job well done. We got some excellent data with that run, so come on back to the garage. Okay, test complete, and that was a very good job indeed. We got a lot. Well done. That lap beats our primary target time. Great lap. You've nailed what we are.
Amazing performance out there. You must be really happy. You put in a lot of time on the track today. Was there a reason for this? Are you hoping to have your reliability issues sorted out before qualifying? You scraped the walls a few times. Were you struggling for grip? Appreciate your time.
Most difficult circuits on the racing calendar. Welcome to Monaco for today's Formula One qualifying. This is the kind of track that eats rear tyres for breakfast, or so I'm told by more experienced drivers than myself.
Lots of low-speed exits means the rears are in for a lot of punishment. It's all too easy to spin them up coming out of a corner too aggressively. It might look great for us as spectators, as we love to see a car driven beyond its limits, but it's not going to result in a great long-run pace.
excitement of qualifying, here's a look at your top three. Alonso, Vettel and Max Verstappen. The grid is set then, so that just leaves the race itself. Join us tomorrow, where we'll be live with all the action. And until then, it's goodbye. A proper road race, and in the true meaning of the word. That was how Mr. Monaco, the late great Graham Hill, once described this iconic event. The cars we drive have come a long way in the intervening half-century, but still we race on those same public roads beside the Mediterranean Sea. There's no victory more coveted than that of the Monaco Grand Prix. The prestigious Circuit de Monaco then. It's not all that dissimilar today to the layout that made its debut almost a century ago. It's 2 miles and 19 corners through the streets of Monte Carlo, and although the average lap speed of around 93 miles per hour is the lowest of the season, the tiny margins for error make it the natural habitat of the safety car. Anthony Davidson joins me again for the race today. Let's talk about Force India. We have a number of changes to the aerodynamic regulations this year, and the signs haven't looked good for them so far in terms of getting to grips with those changes.
There are a few downcast looks within the team this weekend. I think they've been hit fairly hard by the new regs. But this is only the first step down a long road of development, and even if they don't maximise their points today, there are plenty more up for grabs this season.
Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. What a qualifying from Fernando Alonso. He starts from pole position, with Sebastian Vettel starting alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Raikkonen, Lewis Hamilton, Crofty, Leclerc, Gasly, Perez, and Roman Grosjean. Ricciardo, Sainz, Kevin Magnussen, and Hartley, Bottas. They've taken a grid penalty. Ocon, Marcus Ericsson, and Nico Hülkenberg. Sirotkin and Lance Stroll rounds off the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
They seem to have an issue. We're trailing our teammate by 5.7 seconds. Engine off, engine off.
magnificent race and a drive right out of the top draw to take the win for Red Bull today. So, Ant, how exactly did they set themselves apart from the pack today?
Well, Crofty, this was won through an abundance of speed and an abundance of skillful overtakes. Inside, outside, cutting underneath, we saw it all today. And it's really nice to see a Grand Prix won in that manner. A race, surely, that will satisfy the purists today, I think.
So here come our winning drivers today, and what a race it was. There's been a big push at the factory lately to get these cars ready, and we can see the fruits of that labour today as Red Bull lift the winner's trophy. At the top of the championship has been cut down after a difficult race today for our championship leader. Now then, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
Lots of drivers impressed me today, Crofty, but I'd say the one who impressed me the most was Daniel Ricciardo.
And now let's take a look at the constructors' standings. Mercedes moved to the top of the table. After all that excitement, it's time for a lie down, I think. Thanks for joining us, and goodbye until the next race.
You okay? Nothing more than bumps and bruises, I hope. I wish I could say the same for the car. That thing is quite a mess. What a disappointing end to a lot of hard work this weekend. Still, we've got plenty of repair time before the next race. It'll be just like new in time for the next Grand Prix.
You hit your last team goal. Well done. That should get the team a nice boost to their development, and it won't hurt when it comes to your next contract review either.